I gotta say guys, coming into 2026, having Marathon be one of my most anticipated games of the year was not on my bingo card. And yet here I am being drawn in by these bad cinematics that they've got going on for their marketing. And oh my gosh, I just gotta say, the marketing team at Bungie is cooking with these cinematics. So after getting all hot and heavy with these beautiful works of art, I decided to download the Server Slam and see for myself if Bungie had truly cooked a masterpiece or if it was just pure Art Raiders garbage. And I do want to make it clear that I am planning on doing a full review of this game once it fully releases, because there's just things in the Server Slam that are just not accessible. You can't go further along in the progress. There's 2, I think, other maps that are added at launch. And so this is just my first hands-on impressions, and we're going to get after it, the good and the bad. And I just want to start off by talking about the good, because I really did enjoy this Server Slam. I thought there was things about it that just hit for me that were really well done. And so let's talk about those things first. And right off the bat, I got to say that Bungie did a great job building out this world from what it was looking like in the alpha a couple months ago to what it looks like now. It is a night and day difference, and I gotta say, I feel every single tense moment is just enhanced by the way that this environment is just laid out to you, with the lighting, with the eeriness, with the grimy, dirty textures on the ground. And then on top of this, you have like environmental hazards going on, such as like lightning strikes and rain that kind of reduce visibility. And while these visuals don't make or break this game in any way, shape, or form, like I'm not saying that because the visuals are good, this game is good. I'm just saying that the experience in this game is a lot better because you feel way more immersed because of those little details. And on top of that, the sound in this game is done really well. It's making noise. For example, when you're running through these open spaces, the things that you can hear are birds from enemy players interacting with them. You can hear drop ships coming in. You can hear enemy players firing guns. And so you're kind of like drawn to this like soundscape of things that you're trying to decipher to know where to go next or how to approach a specific area depending on what you're hearing. And then once you enter the buildings, it becomes a lot more of a claustrophobic audio experience. And what I mean by this is you hear your footsteps echoing across the hallways. When you shoot a gun, it echoes down all the way throughout the whole building. And then after you've made these sounds, you hear the robots alerting themselves and starting to run towards you. And you don't know if there's another player in the building. You don't know if there's a player outside that heard your gunshots and is heading towards you. And so sound becomes this really important thing that you use in order to make informed decisions on the fly during your rounds in Marathon. And I think Bungie did a really good job with this sound design, because I never felt that the sound was working against me. And what I mean by this is in the PvP encounters or against the robot encounters, I never felt like the sounds distracted me or pointed me in the wrong direction if I was paying attention to them. And in a game where your loot is on the line and getting out alive is the only way to like actually bring things out, it's really important to have visuals and sound design that is clear and informative, and I feel like Bungie has done that here. And you're probably saying to yourself right now, Skux, I don't care about the environments. I don't care that the sound design is whatever and helping me make decisions. I want to know, is the gameplay fun? Is the moment-to-moment action something that I'm gonna want to do all the time, coming back again and again to play this game Marathon? And my quick answer to you is yes. This game is extremely fun. The gunplay is solid. The PvP encounters especially are a highlight of how this game plays. And when it comes to the PvE robot encounters, I would say that these fights are tough but fair. And to go into a little bit more detail about those things that I just mentioned, so first off, the gunplay. This is extremely well done. Bungie is known for their gunplay and the way that their games feel when it comes to using the weapons that they have. And they have brought that expertise and knocked that gunplay right out of the park, because this gunplay feels fantastic. But what good is gunplay if you don't have anything fun to shoot at? Well, I gotta say, Marathon's got you covered, because there's lots of shit to shoot at. And so like I mentioned before, there's PvE and there's PvP. And so first let's talk about PvE. The PvE enemies that I came across were 1, spiders kind of out in the open and they have these nests that you have to destroy. And 2, there was a bunch of different types of robots. There was your basic robot that had light armor that you could kill pretty easily. And then they would get a little bit more complex when it came to the medium, heavy, and like gold armor tier enemies. And what I mean by this is depending on the type of like robot that you're fighting, they have different move sets and different things that they can do. For example, some of the lighter tier enemies have the ability to turn invisible and they'll go and flank you, and it literally looks like one of the assassin shells, like a real player coming at you, because they're moving like they actually know what they're doing. And on top of that, they're being sneaky as hell. And so you really do think this is a player all the way up until the moment that you actually shoot the robot. And this is only one of the types of robots that you're going to run into, because on top of the ones that turn invisible, you have ones that have really heavy duty shields and they shoot rockets at you and throw grenades. There's even boss robots that you can fight that have different special abilities, such as like creating a bunch of holograms to come and chase after you and fight you. And so when you mix all of these different types of robots together, the stealth guys, the guys who have heavy shields, the guy who does holograms, you're really left with an experience that's very unique to what Marathon is trying to do. And I'm gonna be freaking real with you, I got wrecked by these robots multiple times. And not only do they get you down, but they suck you dry and finish you off. And so you're left with this feeling of like, holy shit, I just got wrecked by those robots. And then when you mix in the PvP, it just becomes this hosh posh mess of just crazy things happening, because these robots, like I'm saying, they are not to be trifled with lightly. And so if a team starts attacking you while you're fighting the robots, then you could either be in a really bad situation because you're already low from fighting the robots, or it could turn and end up being a good situation because the robots turn on them and give you the advantage in the battle. And so for example, one of the rounds that I had, me and these 2 other guys, we snuck up on this team that was fighting robots because they had activated a ammo crate that they were trying to open. And so we used the cover of the gunfire that they were shooting at the robot to sneak right up to them and just destroy them. And so you get this really fun, engaging experience where you're using the AI to your advantage while also having a disadvantage anytime that you're interacting with them and fighting them. But it's inevitable that you're going to fight the robots because they are patrolling everywhere. They can see you from freaking far away and they will chase you down to murder you. And so it just makes for a really fun, immersive experience of just fun PvP, fun PvE, and just a fun environment to interact with and be part of. And so I honestly walked away from this server slam with really high hopes for what this game can be. But the thing is I know that there's definitely things that I want to see improved. And so now we're going to talk about those things and just see if Bungie can squeeze these in at some point in their busy schedule. And while the gameplay and actually being in the world was really fun, when you came out of the world and you're interacting with your inventory, the armory, all of the different factions and all those things, it just ended up being menus on menus, inside more menus. And I mean, at some point Bungie's got to look at this and go, I think we might have a little bit too many menus. And I think for reals, this is a huge pain point for people who came to the server slam wanting to check out the cool new Bungie game that came out. But what they were met with was a half marathon game and a half menu simulator. And while I am complaining, I do got to say that as you put in more time in this game, of course you're just going to understand these menus a lot more. But I do got to say that I think if they made these menus a little bit simpler to navigate through and interact with, it would make for an overall better experience. And this leads me to my second point of possible improvement that Bungie can take, and they got to do something about the way that the items are shown in your inventory. So the little icons that are shown in the inventory and out in the world while you're looting, they are just not enough to know exactly what you're picking up. All I see is colors and I just pick up the better color. And the reason that I do this isn't because I want to just pick up some random thing that's possibly better. It's because in an extraction shooter, you don't exactly have time to sit there and read all the descriptions of the items that you're picking up because you have robots coming around the corner or you have players sneaking up on you. And so you're constantly in this heightened sense of stress because you're thinking about all those things and you don't have time to read a fucking book. And so yeah, these are the things that really bothered me when it came to my experience with the server slam. And I know that there's other issues that people have pointed out, but the thing is if Bungie can really take all of this like feedback and take action on it, I think that'll just build trust with Bungie again, because I know they've lost a lot of trust with the art scandal, hashtag art raiders for life. They've lost a lot of trust just with the way that they handled the alpha playtest this last year. If Bungie can really just hone in on these things that are bothering people and just make it a really good experience for the people who are playing Marathon, then I think it'll in turn bring new players into the fold and have them just have a successful game overall. And when it comes to my experience in mention my thoughts. I'm hopeful that Marathon can become something special. It's already something fun. It's something that I vibe with hardcore, and I think that some of you guys might vibe with it too. And so all that's left to do is essentially wait for Thursday and just take our time and just enjoy the hell out of Marathon and see where it takes us. Because who knows? Maybe this will be our new favorite game.